Welcome to Ceiling Shattering Tactics. We are here to elevate, innovate, and disrupt executive leadership by digging into the tactics and tools that have helped transformative entrepreneurs and leaders get to where they are today. Joining us is Jackie Ghedine. Jackie, thank you so much for being here.
I am thrilled to finally get to do this live after we've kind of known each other on the outskirts for some time now.
I know, we've known each other digitally for a long time now, so we're finally together. But I asked you here for a reason. So for those of you who don't know Jackie is the co-founder and chief strategy officer of Modern Gen X Woman, a company built by Gen X women for Gen X women. Through business and career coaching, Modern Gen X Woman advances women by teaching them their own worth, how to express their influence, and articulate their value, leading to professional success and wealth, which I absolutely love that idea, especially of owning your own worth. So awesome. I can't wait to find out what your ceiling breaking tactic is. So can you share with us?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I love working with people on is something we call energy plotting. And energy plotting is a way to tap into your own inner energy and what you enjoy to do and leverage it to actually be more productive. And you're like, what does that mean? So I'll just give you a quick explanation. When you think about your day, most of us start our day doing the things that are easiest or that we enjoy doing, or we start our day thinking about what do I need to get off my desk. And when you think about how to strategically plot your day based on your energy, it changes everything. So the way to do that is it's actually a little bit of a process. We have our clients go in and chart every 2 hours how they are feeling energetically throughout their day. So when they wake up in the morning, how are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 2 hours into your day, how are you feeling scale of 1 to 10? And then you chart your energy, like how energetic you are feeling. Because there's a misnomer that mornings are the best, but not for everybody. So you really understand your own energy levels. And then what you do is you layer in the tasks that are yours and your responsibility. So for entrepreneurs, many of us have to write blog posts. Many of us have to do finances. Many of us have to call clients. And there are things that naturally boost your energy. So for me being a coach, I love coaching clients. Like it's my sweet spot. But so I would chart it as a 10 on my energy scale. And also the earlier part of my day is my 10. So most people would say, like, oh, I'm going to put my client energy or my clients in the morning. But then what happens is when you have to do your finances, you're burnt out by the end of the day. Yeah. So we actually reverse engineer that. So the things that are highest on your task scale that bring you energy, you plot them into the time in your day where your energy is lowest, because it naturally ups your energy. If you enjoy working with clients, it's going to boost your energy naturally. And then on the flip side, when your energy is highest, you do those tasks that take the most energy from you. So maybe it's finances or spreadsheets or creating content or doing process, whatever that looks like for you. And if you do this, you will see that your productivity will rise tremendously. And it really does change the dynamic of how you go to work. And it's powerful and exciting because then you're like, oh my goodness, how much I got done in this week. I can't believe it.
So you have to do two things, right? I'm picking this up. You have to not only chart your energy that you're feeling, so how you feel, but also the energy that your task takes.
Yes.
So you would look at, so like for me, it would be with writing articles, right? Like that's a lot of brain power for me. That's a 10. But doing interviews, like you said, so much fun. I don't need as much of my brain power energy. I can do that at the end of the day because I get so jazzed by it.
Correct. That's correct. If your highest part of your day is the morning, you want to put your writing in the morning. So the thing that drains you, you want to match it up to your highest energy part of your day. And it's so counterintuitive because when we feel good, we want to do the things we love to do. But if you think about it, then when you don't feel great, or you feel tired, or you feel like this is not my greatest part of my day, you leave the hardest things and it takes longer. We make mistakes, we procrastinate them and don't get to them, and then we struggle and stress over that.
When you're plotting energy, I'm curious about this too. What if there's something that you find that just like is like a negative energy for you? And like for me, I think of like Instagram, right? Like Instagram to me is like my negative energy. I look at it and it could actually like drain my day.
I'm with you. That is me 100%. That's so funny.
What do you like when you spot that? What do you do?
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Nope. So here's the thing that's really interesting. Well, I shouldn't say don't do it. I think you need to think about, why am I doing this? Am I shoulding myself to do this? Shoulding, right? I should be on Instagram. I should be there. So there's two things. One is this really where I need to be? Because is the draining of my energy worth what I am getting out of it? Or if it is draining your energy and you feel like it is something that needs to happen and you feel strongly about it, then find someone who can be that person that you could delegate to. Even as an entrepreneur, if you could find someone that you can hire to say, like, you need to run my Instagram because it is draining my energy, it will free you up and it'll allow you to feel better in your entire day. I am with you. I despise Instagram. And every time I force myself to and should myself, I dread it. I'm angry and it changes. So we've let it go. We have it up and we just don't do anything with it because we feel like it's not worth the drain of the energy. So it's really investigating that for yourself. But most of the time, it's also that intuition of like, is this really where I have to be? Or do I spend time more on LinkedIn where I'm getting more results anyway?
I love this. I love every bit about it. I feel like I'm going to start tomorrow and plot my energy. How does someone get started?
How to get started is get a calendar. You could even if you don't have a printed calendar, print 2 weeks out on a piece of paper or in your phone, however, if you're analog or digital. And when you wake up in the morning, set an alarm on your phone so you remember to do this, because this is part, right? Set an alarm for every 2 hours from the time you wake up till about 8 o'clock in your day or 5 o'clock in your day, whenever your work day ends. And every 2 hours when the alarm goes off, just plot on a calendar 0 to 10, 10 being the highest energy, I could do anything, and 0 being I can't even move, right? Plot your day. So do that for 2 weeks. And as you do that, every task that you see that you come up with, so as an entrepreneur in your career, start charting those on a piece of paper or digitally as well. So I have to record a podcast, I have to do my finances, I have to write a blog, whatever that is, and plot those. And then after the end of 2 weeks, then you marry the two. So then you schedule your time, your next week, based on how your energies fall and how the tasks fall against your energy. So it's really 2 weeks of analysis in order to begin to start using it productively.
Okay, so this isn't just like a one-day quick fix. You gotta put in a little work, but it's gonna help you immensely.
Yes, and the other thing too that I want you guys to, if you're listening to this and you're like, this makes sense, your days are different too. So for people who don't like their job, Mondays are really awful. For people who love their jobs, Mondays are like the bomb. It's like a brand new notebook and you can't wait to get started. So you need to also understand how you are each day of the week. For some people, Fridays are, I want to wrap up my week. And for some people, Fridays are, I want to plan my next week. So really that whole energy day by day to not just by the time of day is really important.
I can't wait. I'm starting tomorrow.
You have to let me know how it goes. Will you promise to email me how it goes?
Yes, I will, because I need this, especially going into the holidays and starting a new year. Yeah. I need this, and that'll be a great way to start the new year. But, we've got a lot of questions from every career level, so I want to bring in Anne to ask 2 questions for our dear future disruptors.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for sharing your tactic with us. Like Tamara was saying, like I'm definitely gonna be trying energy plotting in the new year. I think it's so fascinating because you like completely change the way that I view productivity. And I see like I tend to put like whenever I'm like at a high energy level, I always do the things that make me feel like most excited or passionate. And then I find that when I'm like at my lowest, I'm like, oh my God, I can't take any more challenging tasks. And it just ruins my day completely. But I'm just going to be asking you two quick questions, and you can feel free to answer them as in depth as you'd like. So the first question is, what is one decision you made that changed the trajectory of your life?
Of my life? This is a really good question. The one decision I made that changed the trajectory of my life is when I decided to consciously step off my tremendous career as associate publisher of Ad Age without a net. And I'm a high achiever, type A personality, and I've always known what my goalpost was, as you know, what success looked like for me. And my daughter was in kindergarten and really struggling, and I knew that I couldn't do both. And I decided, I don't know what my next looks like, which is really scary for a type A, but I know that my next can't look like this. And by stepping off and actually not having a plan, it allowed me to investigate myself, to figure out what is it that's going to, what do I miss about what I was doing? And what's going to ignite me if I start doing something else? And I recognized that I missed and was called from the people that I work with. I missed maximizing individual potential. That was the thing that was the missing piece that I was like, oh. And that was the thing that people that knew me in the industry or my colleagues would call me after I had left and say, hey, I need help with. And it put me into a trajectory to say, I'm going to go back to coaching school. I'm going to go back to coaching school with background in psychology and neuroscience because I love science-backed tactics versus amorphous, like, oh, and just think that it's going to be all wonderful, which is great. I believe in mindset, but I believe in the science of mindset. So that was my biggest change, is the recognition that I am worthy and I can trust that I don't know what's next, because I can trust myself to be able to figure it out and have that confidence, because that's what confidence is not knowing, but trusting your abilities to figure it out. So that was my biggest.
Yeah, I think it's so great how even though you didn't know what was coming next, you still took that risk and you like knew what your definition of success was and what you needed in the future.
Yeah.
So my second question is, what are some resources you would suggest for new leaders?
Some of the best resources that I find are, there's so much content out there. So what I always say when I work with different leaders in the industry is, what are some of the things that you really want to work on? And then how do you consume and then take action? So what I mean by that is, if you are an audio person versus a visual person, do you like audio learning? Do you like visual learning? So really think about that. And then figure out if you like to listen to podcasts, or if you like to read books. And then as you read something, take note and put it into action. Especially women tend to intake versus taking action. They want to consume so much because they're so fearful of taking an action that's wrong. So one of the best books that I've ever read is called Good to Great. And as a leader, I find it's an oldie but a goodie. I find it to be fascinating because it teaches you how, if you lead well, you don't have to tell people where you're going if you don't know, but they're going to trust that you're going to keep them safe. It's almost like the concept of being a Sherpa going up a mountain. So one of the Good to Great is one of my favorites. And my other favorite is one that probably most people haven't heard of. It's called Your Brain at Work by David Rock. And his book is all about neuroscience and leadership. So he talks about, I don't know if you've ever heard of the SCARF model, but it is the 5 things that put people into fight or flight. If someone threatens their status, if someone threatens their certainty, their autonomy, their relatedness, or their fairness. And if you can figure out how to navigate that and do that with your team, where you're not threatening that, they're feeling that you're treating them fairly, you're giving them autonomy, you will produce a team that is high functioning and will deliver excellence for you. So 2 of the best books that I've ever read for that.
Wow, that's so amazing. I think I'll definitely have to have a read at those books.
Yeah.
And that's all I have for you. Thank you so much, Jackie.
Thanks, Anne.
Thanks, Anne. Okay, Jackie, before we let you go, we just want to hear one thing that you're excited about that you're working on right now that we can share with our community.
So the one thing I'm really excited about is, as we talked about, our mission is really to get women to, our mission for modern Gen X women is to make Generation X the wealthiest female generation. Because if we give them wealth, if we give them power, we have the opportunity to change the dynamic of the business world. And so one of the things that we are working on is we are launching a program called Worth Value Wealth in January. And it's a group program where we are helping women identify their worth story, understand and analyze their value and where it comes from, because there's a big difference between worth and value. And then we talk about how you create your personal DNA based on what we call the intersection of experience, talent, skill, and what you absolutely love. So energy, right? The energy of what you love. And then we develop a story with them, and then they can go off and ask for what they want. Too many women, especially Gen X women, have believed that they need to wait for someone to offer something to them. You have to play nice in the sandbox, be quiet, be the quiet worker bee. And we're like, no, you're not going to be the worker bee. We're going to teach you how to be the queen bee. So this is a 6-week program where women can walk away feeling empowered to ask for what they want and have their story on what their worth and value is to be able to do that. So we're really excited to be rolling this out in January because we know the power of this framework we put together. It's called the Wealth Framework, and really excited that we give access to so many more women by doing it as a group program versus just one-on-one.
That's amazing. Okay, how can people go find out more about this? Where do they go?
So if you go to moderngenxwomen.com/worth-value-wealth, you will find the information there and then everything that you need to know about the program.
And I also highly recommend everybody follow you on LinkedIn because I love following your posts. So that is it for this week's Ceiling Shattering Tactics. If you'd like more insight into the toolboxes of influential female leaders, such as Jackie, follow Mind the Ceiling on social media to get the latest updates. Thank you, and see you all next week.